I want you to pay close attention to these words, for they contain within them the very essence of the law that governs all creation. You see, my dear friends, the world you perceive around you is nothing more than a reflection of your own consciousness. It is a mirror that faithfully reproduces the contents of your mind, your beliefs, and most importantly, your imagination. Let us begin by understanding the fundamental truth: you are God. Yes, you heard me correctly. You are God, individualized and made manifest in human form. The I am within you is God, and there is no other. This realization is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. For when you truly understand and accept this truth, you will come to know that all power resides within you. Now you might be wondering, Wayne, how can I possibly manifest anything in just 48 hours? The answer, my friends, lies in the power of your imagination, coupled with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You see, creation is finished. All possible states already exist in the infinite mind, I, which is your own wonder, which is. Your task is not to create, but to select and occupy the state that you desire to experience. Let me share with you a simple yet profound technique that, when applied with unwavering faith and persistence, can bring about miraculous changes in your life within 40 hours. I call this technique living in the end. It is the art of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, of experiencing in your imagination the reality you desire as if it were already a fact in your world. To begin, you must first clearly define what it is you wish to manifest. Be specific, my dear friends. The more clearly you can articulate your desire, the more powerfully you can imagine it. Once you have identified your desire, close your eyes and create a scene in your mind that implies the fulfillment of your wish. Make this scene as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you fear? What do you smell? What do you taste? For example, your desire is to manifest a new job. Imagine yourself sitting in your new office. Feel the texture of the chair beneath you. Look around and notice the details of your surroundings. Hear the sounds of your colleagues congratulating you on your new position. Feel the sense of pride and accomplishment that comes with achieving your goal. Now, here's the crucial part. You must persist in this imaginative act until it takes on the tone of reality. You must continue to dwell in this state, to live in the end, until you can no longer differ between your imagination and your experience and your physical reality. This is what I mean when I say an assumption, the false it persisted in will harden into fact. Remember, my friends, imagination creates reality. What you assume to be true, what you feel to be real, must and will objectify itself in your world. This is the law, and it is infallible. Your three-dimensional world is nothing more than an outpicturing of your inner, four-dimensional reality. Now, you might be thinking, but Wayne, surely it takes more than just imagining to make things happen in a real world. Let me assure you, it does not. Your imagination is the very substance of reality. It is the creative power of the universe, individualized as you. When you imagine and feel your wish fulfilled, you are literally rearranging the substance of the universe to conform to your assumption. Consider the words of William Blake. What seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be, and is productive of the most dreadful consequences to those to whom it seems to be. In other words, what you perceive to be real becomes real in its consequences. This is why it's crucial to carefully select the state you wish to occupy, for you will inevitably bear the fruit of that state. Let's delve deeper into the practice of living in the end. As you go about your day, carry with you the feeling of you are fulfilled. Let every action, every word, every thought be colored by the assumption that you are already the person you wish to be, that you already have what you desire. This is what it means to pray without ceasing. It is a constant, unbroken assumption of the reality of imagined state. Now, some of you might be wondering about the significance of the 48-hour period mentioned in our title. My dear friends, time is a construct to the human mind. In the realm of imagination, in the realm of God, there is no time. All is eternally all. However, in our three-dimensional experience, we perceive the passage of time. The 48-hour period is simply a focal point, a target for your faith and expectation. When you fully embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you completely accept it as your present reality, you set in motion forces beyond your conscious understanding. These forces work tirelessly to bring about the conditions and circumstances necessary for the externalization of your assumption. Often, this process happens much faster than you might expect, hence the 48-hour reference. But let me be clear, do not become fixated on the time frame. Your task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to live in the end, regardless of any seeming delays or contradictions in your outer world. Remember the words of Scripture, "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Now let's address a common stumbling block that many encounter on this path. You may find that as you attempt to live in your imaginal reality, your physical senses bombard you with evidence to the contrary. You might be tempted to give in to doubt, to abandon your assumption in the face of seeming failure. This, my friends, is the true test of your faith. In such moments, recall the words of Paul, "We walk by faith, not by sight." Your physical senses show you the world of effects, but your imagination does not. Your physical senses show you the world of effects, but your imagination deals with the world of causes. Persist in your assumption, no matter what your senses tell you. For it is your persistent assumption that will ultimately reshape your world. Consider the story of the fig tree in the Bible. Jesus seeing a fig tree with no fruit trusted. The next day, Peter noticed that the tree had withered from the roots. This parable beautifully illustrates the power of assumption. Jesus did not wait to see the tree wither before believing it. He assumed it to be so and went on his way. The physical manifestation followed the assumption. In the same way, you must make your assumption and then go about your day, knowing with unwavering faith that what you have assumed must, in the middle, come to pass. This is the art of detachment. You plant the seed in your imagination, and then you let it grow, trusting in the law that governs all creation. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Wayne, what if I have conflicting desires? What if I'm not sure exactly what I want to manifest? This is a common concern, and it brings us to an important point. The power of your imagination is infinite, but it requires direction. You must be specific about what you want. If you find yourself torn between different desires, take some time to reflect on what truly resonates with your innermost being. What aligns with your highest good? What brings you a sense of fulfillment and joy when you imagine it? This is where the practice of meditation can be immensely helpful. Quiet your mind, go within, and listen to the voice of your highest self. Once you have clarity about your desire, commit to it fully. Do not waver between states. Choose the state that represents the fulfillment of your wish and occupy it completely. Remember, you can revise your choice at any time, but while you are assuming a particular state, give it your full attention and belief. Let's take a moment to address another crucial aspect of this practice is the feeling. It's not enough to merely visualize everything that you desire. You must feel it. You must emotionally embody the state of having your wish fulfilled. Emotion is the fuel that powers your imagination and brings your asthma to life. When you imagine your desired reality, allow yourself to feel the joy, the excitement, the gratitude that would naturally go with the fulfillment of your wish. Let these feelings permeate your entire being, for it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal acts. Consider the words of Wayne and awaken the imagination of your inner being. Consider the words of Wayne. An awakened imagination works with a purpose. It creates and conserves the desirable and transforms or destroys the undesirable. Your feelings are the indicator of which state you are currently occupying. If you find yourself feeling anxious, not doubtful, recognize that these feelings are creating undesirable conditions in your life. Immediately shift your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is the transformative power of your imagination of Earth. Now let's explore a powerful technique that can help you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled throughout your day. I call this technique the congratulate scene. Imagine a scene where a friend or loved one is congratulating you on achieving your desire. Hear their words of praise and congratulations. Feel the warmth of their embrace. Allow yourself to fully experience the joy and satisfaction of this moment. Replay this congratulatory scene in your mind whenever you need to reinforce your assumption. Use it as a touchstone to bring you back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The more you practice this, the more natural and real it will become until it permeates your entire consciousness. Remember, my dear friends, your imagination is not bound by the limitations of your physical world. In your imagination, you can do or have anything you desire. There are no restrictions, no limitations, except those you impose upon yourself. Therefore, dare to imagine greatly. Dare to assume the best for yourself and for others. As we continue our exploration of this profound law, let us consider its implications in our daily lives. Every moment of every day, you are using your imagination, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every thought and every assumption is shaping your reality. This realization brings with it great responsibility, but also a great opportunity. You have the power to consciously direct your imagination towards the fulfillment of your desires. You have the ability to choose the states you will occupy and thus the experiences you will have. This is true freedom, my friends. It is the freedom to create your life exactly as you wish it to be. Now, some of you might be wondering about the road of action in this process. Surely, you might think you might need to do something in the physicality, in that physical world to bring about my desire. Let me clarify this point. Actually, it's important, but it must be inspired action. Action that flows naturally from your assumption. When you truly live in the end, when you fully occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the actions that align with that state. These actions will not feel force-trained. They will feel natural and effortless because they are simply an expression of who you have become in your imagination. Consider the example of a person who desires to be a successful author. This person doesn't need to force themselves to write. Instead, they assume the state of being a successful author. They live from that state, feeling the satisfaction and joy of having written best-selling books. From this assumed state, the act of writing flows naturally and joyfully. It becomes an expression of who they are rather than a thought they want to complete. This is the difference between inspired action and forced action. Inspired action comes from being, while forced action comes from a sense of lack or need. Always remember being for safe doing. First, be the person who has what you desire, and the doing will follow naturally. Now, let's address a question that often arises. What about other people? Don't they have their own free will? How can my imagination affect them? This is a profound question, and it touches on the very nature of reality itself. Remember, my dear friends, there is only one consciousness. The I am within you is the same I am that animates all of creation. When you change your conception of yourself, you change your conception of others. As you assume a new state for yourself, you are simultaneously assuming a state for you statement in your world. This doesn't mean you're controlling others or infringing on their free will. Rather, you're experiencing a different version of them that aligns with your new state. In essence, you're moving into a parallel reality where everyone plays the part that fits your new assumption. This understanding liberates you from the need to change others or to manipulate external circumstances. Your only task is to change yourself, to assume the state of consciousness that aligns with your desire. As you do this, you will find that others naturally conform to your new assumption. Let's take a moment to address a common concern that often arises when people first encounter these teachings. You might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. Surely, there must be some catch, some limitation to what I can manifest. My dear friends, the only limitations that exist are those you accept and don't accept. My dear friends, the only limitations that exist are those you accept in your own mind. The power of your imagination is truly infinite. It is the very creative power of the universe, individualized as you. Therefore, there is nothing you cannot be, do, or have when you align your imagination with the highest good. However, it's important to understand that this power comes with great responsibility. As you begin to grasp the magnitude of your creative ability, you must also cultivate wisdom and compassion. Use your imagination to create not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all. For in truth, there is no separation between you and others. We are all one, expressions of the same divine consciousness. Now, let's delve deeper into the practical application of this law. How can you ensure that you maintain your desired state consistently over the 48-hour period and beyond? The key lies in persistence and faith. Persistence means continuing in your assumption, regardless of any seeming contradictions in your outer world. It means holding fast to your imaginal reality, even when your senses scream otherwise. This persistence is what separates those who succeed in manifesting their desires from those who give up too soon. Faith, on the other hand, is not mere belief. It is the evidence of things not seen. It is the absolute cohesion that what you have assumed in your imagination is already a reality on the unseen plans and must therefore manifest in your visible world. This faith is unshakable, for it is based on your understanding of the law that governs all creation. To strengthen your persistence in faith, I recommend the practice of revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If any event didn't align with your desired state, revise it in your mind. See it playing out exactly as you would have wanted it to. Feel the satisfaction and joy of this revised version. This practice of revision serves two purposes. First, it reinforces your desired state, keeping you aligned with your assumption. Second, it demonstrates to you the malleability of reality. As you practice revision, you'll begin to understand experientially that reality is fruit responsive to your consciousness. Another powerful technique to maintain your state is the use of affirmations. These are not mere positive statements, but declarations of truth about your desired reality. Speak these affirmations with feeling, knowing that they are already true on the unseen plans. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, you might affirm, I am wealthy beyond measure. Money flows to me easily and abundantly. Say these words with conviction, feeling the truth of them in every fiber of your being. Let the feeling these words evoke permeate your entire consciousness. Remember that the words themselves are not magic. It's the feeling they evoke, the state they put you in, that creates the bridge between your current reality and your desired reality. Always couple your affirmations with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, as we approach the final stretch of our 48-hour manifestation period, it's crucial to address the concept of detachment. This might seem contradictory at first. How can you live in the state of your wish fulfilled, your wishful simultaneously detached from the outcome? The key is to understand that detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means trusting in the law, knowing that what you have assumed must come to pass. It means relinquishing anxiety and doubt, and resting in the certainty of your assumption. Think of it this way: when you plant the seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust in the natural process of growth. You water it, provide sunlight, and then you let it be. This is the kind of detachment I'm talking about. Plant the seed of your desire in your imagination, nurture it with your assumption, and then let it grow. As we near the end of our 48-hour period, you might find yourself becoming anxious or impatient to see results. This is natural. It's important to resist the urge to look for signs or to test the law. Remember what the world is a reflection of your inner state. If you're constantly looking for proof, you're actually assuming a state of lack or doubt. Instead, continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Go about your day with the calm assurance that your desire is already yours. Let go of the when and how. Trust that the infinite intelligence of the universe knows the perfect timing and the perfect way to bring your assumption into physical reality. Now, let's address a question that often arises. What if I don't see my desire manifested within 48 hours? My dear friends, remember that time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of imagination, in the realm of God, there is no time. Your task is not to make your desire happen within a certain time frame, but to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilling regardless of outer appearances. If the 48-hour period passes, and you haven't seen physical evidence of your desire, do not be discouraged. This is not a failure, but an opportunity to deepen your faith and strengthen your assumption. Continue to live in the end. Persist in your assumption. For it is written, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it belong, then for it is sure, and it will not be late. Remember, the law is infallible. What you assume with feeling must objectify within your world. Sometimes the seed you've planted needs more time to germinate. Sometimes things need to re-erase themselves in the invisible realm before they can manifest in the visible. Your job is to hold fast your assumption to continually in the end, knowing that the desire must come to pass. As we conclude our exploration of this profound law, I want to remind you of a fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you perceive is a reflection of your own wonderful human imagination. This understanding brings with it immense power, but also great responsibility. Use this power wisely. Use it to create a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment, not just for yourself, but for all of humanity. For in truth, there is no separation between you and others. We are all one, expressing the same divine consciousness. My dear friends, you now have in your possession the key to unlocking the infinite potential of your imagination. You understand that by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled by living in the end, you can manifest anything in your world. Go forth now and apply this law in your life. Test it for yourself, for it is in the application in the living of this truth that you will truly come to know its power. Remember, your imagination is the very substance of reality. Use it consciously, use it lovingly, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. In closing, I want to leave you with these words. You are divine. You are limitless. You are the creator of your reality. Embrace this truth, live from this understanding, and nothing will be impossible for you. The world is yours to shape according to your highest vision. Thank you, my wonderful friends, for your attention and your presence. May you go forth and create a life beyond your wildest dreams. For truly, with your imagination as your guide, anything is possible. Anything can be manifested, and it all begins with this simple yet profound practice. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, live in the end, and watch as your world transforms to match your assumption. Remember, you are not bound by your past, by your current circumstances, or by what others think is possible for you. You are bound only by the limits of your own imagination. And as we've discovered, that imagination is infinite in its potential. So dream big, my friends. Imagine greatly. Assume states that fill you with joy, with excitement, with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. For as you do so, you are quite literally reshaping the substance of the universe to match your assumption. And remember, this is not a one-time event. This is a way of life. Continue to use your imagination consciously. Continue to assume the states you desire, and you will find that your life becomes an ever unfolding miracle, a constant demonstration of the created power that resides within you. Go now and put this law to the test. Live these next 48 hours from your wish fulfilled. Feel it, embody it, become it, and know with absolute certainty that what you are assuming must and will manifest in your world. You are the author of your life story. Write it beautifully, write it boldly, and watch as the universe conspires to make your grandest visions into reality. For truly, with your imagination as your ally, there are no limits to what you can achieve, what you can manifest. The power is yours. The choice is yours. The life you desire is yours for the taking. Simply assume it, feel it, live it, and must be so. This is the law, and it cannot fail. Thank you, my dear friends. May your journey of conscious creation be filled with joy, wonder, and endless possibilities. Remember always, you are God individualized, and your imagination is the creative power of the universe. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Go forth now and create the life of your dreams, for it is your divine right and your sacred responsibility. The world awaits your creative touch. Shape it with love, with wisdom, and with the full power of your awakened imagination.
The universe is not outside of you. What you see out there, what you experience in your world, is nothing more than the outpicture in unconsciousness. Everything that exists in your world was first born in your imagination. Now, let me share a story from my own experience. Several years ago, when I was living in New York, I found myself in what the world would call a difficult situation. Bills were mounting, opportunities seemed scarce, and the external world appeared hostile. But I knew then, as I know now, that what I was experiencing was simply the harvest of my previous mental activity. You see, my dear friends, the secret lies not in fighting against these circumstances, but in completely relaxing into the awareness of who really are. And are you? You are God Himself individualized. You are the operant power of the universe expressing itself as you. Let us dive deeper into this magnificent truth. When I speak of relaxation, I am not merely talking about physical relaxation, though that is important. I am speaking of a profound metalaksha, a complete surrender to your divine nature. The first principle you must understand is this: your consciousness, your I am-ness is God. When you say I am, you are proclaiming the name of God. This is not a metaphor, my dear friends. This is the absolute truth of your being. Now, how does one truly relax and trust the universe? It begins with understanding that what you seek is already yours in the invisible realm of imagination. Whatever you desire, be it wealth, love, health, or success, already exists in what I call the fourth dimension, the dimension of imagination. Let me share with you a technique used countless times. I call it the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Before you go to sleep at night, assume the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already realized. Feel the naturalness of having what you want. Feel the relief, the satisfaction, the joy that would be yours. For instance, if you desire, do not focus on the lack of money in your current experience. Instead, feel the feeling of financial security. Feel how you would feel if your bank account were overflowing. Feel the satisfaction of paying your bills with ease. Feel the joy of helping others with your abundance. The secret, my dear friends, is to persist in this feeling until it becomes your predominant state. Remember, your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. This is law. Let me tell you about the lady who attended one of my lectures in Los Angeles. She was struggling with chronic anxiety about her future. She constantly worried about everything that could go wrong. I told her, my dear, you are creating your future with these very worries. Instead, why not imagine lovingly? Why not assume that all is well? I instructed the beings just before sleep, feeling the peace and security she desired. I told her to feel it so naturally that it would be impossible to believe otherwise. Within weeks, her entire world transformed. Her anxiety dissolved, opportunities appeared seemingly out of nowhere, and life began to flow effortlessly. You see, when you truly relax and trust, you are acknowledging your own divinity. You are recognizing that the power that created the universe is not separate from you. It is you. Now, Let me share with you the deeper aspects of trust. Trust is not about believing in an external power. True trust is the absolute conviction that imagination creates reality. When you imagine something, you are literally creating it on a spiritual level. Your only task then is to remain faithful to your imaginal act. Consider this every morning when you wake up. You trust that the sun will rise. You don't worry about it. You don't try to mate, and you simply will. This is the kind of trust I'm talking about, an absolute knowing that what you have imagined must materialize in your physical world. Let me give you a spiritual exercise that I have found immensely powerful. I call it the Sabbath. Choose a time each day when you be completely alone and undisturbed. Close your eyes and mentally declare, "Be still and know that I am God." Feel the truth of these words. Feel the power and presence of your own wonderful human imagination. Then bring to mind your desire, whatever it may be. But here's the crucial part. Don't think of it as something to be achieved in the future. Instead, feel that you already have it. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the completion, then rest in this feeling. This is what it means to enter the Sabbath, to rest in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Remember, my dear friends, the universe, which is your wonderful human imagination, operates by law. Just as a seed planted in fertile soil must grow, so must your imaginal acts bear fruit in your physical world. But you must give your seed time to grow. This is where trust becomes essential. After you have planted your seed, after you have ascended the few wish fulfilled, you must trust the law. Don't dig up your seed to see if it's growing. Trust that the law is working, even when you can't see the evidence with your physical eyes. Let me share another personal experience. Years ago, I desired to be constructive, sharing these truths with others. Instead of struggling and striving, I would lie in my bed at night and imagine hearing the applause of an audience. I would feel the joy of sharing these principles. I would feel the gratitude of those who understood and applied these truths. I did this knowing it to be real, feeling it to be natural. I didn't question how it would happen. I didn't worry about the steps needed to make it happen. I simply lived in the end, enjoying the feeling of it being done. And here I stand before you tonight, living proof that the law works. The secret was in completely relaxing into the consciousness of the wish fulfilled and trusting that the law must operate according to my assumption. Now, let me address something that many struggle with, the appearance of circumstances that seem to contradict your desire. Remember this: what you see in the outer world is only the shadow of past thoughts and assumptions. It has no power to prevent your new assumption from materializing. When doubts arise, and they will simply return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, don't fight doubts, don't struggle against them. Swing your attention back to the feeling of having what you desire. This is what it means to trust. Think of it this way. When you go to the theater to watch a play, you see various scenes unfold on the stage. Some may be tragic, some may be comic, but you remain relaxed in your seat because you know it's just a play. In the same way, learn to watch the scenes of your life unfold with the same detachment, knowing that your imagination is the author and finisher of your story. The key to relaxation and trust lies in this profound understanding. There is nothing to change but your assumptions about yourself and your world. When you change your assumptions, when you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your world, the outer picture must change to conform to your new assumption. Let me give you a practical technique for maintaining this relaxed state of trust. Throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself becoming tense or worried, pause and ask yourself, what am I imagining right now? You'll find that your attention and worry are always connected to negative imagining. Then, consciously choose to imagine something better. Remember, you are not trying to change the outer world directly. You are changing your inner assumption the outer world must follow. This, my dear friends, is the secret of relaxation and trust. It's not about making things happen. It's about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and allowing the law to operate in its own perfect way and time. Before we conclude tonight's lecture, let me remind you of these essential truths. You are God individualized as you. Your imagination creates reality. What you assume to be true will harden into fact. The outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. Relaxation and trust are natural when you understand these truths. Go forth tonight and test this law. Choose something you desire to experience. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of having what you want. Then relax and trust that what you have assumed must manifest. Let me share with you another personal experience that illustrates this principle beautifully. Many years ago, when I was in Barbados, I met a man who was constantly worried about his business. He would come to me day after day, his face lined with concern, telling me about all the things that could go wrong. I said to him, "My friend, do you know what you are doing? You are imagining the very things you fear and therefore bringing them into your experience." I taught him what I'm teaching you tonight. That relaxation comes from the complete acceptance of your own wonderful human imagination as God. I told him, instead of imagining failure, why not imagine success? Instead of feeling tension about your business, why not feel the satisfaction of a thriving enterprise? You see, my dear wonderful friends, the secret lies in this. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. When you trust your imagination completely, when you relax into the consciousness of your desire fulfilled, you are exercising your divine creative power. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. This is not merely a poetic passage from Scripture. It's a conspiritual truth. The lily doesn't struggle to become a lily. It doesn't strive or worry. It simply unfolds according to its nature. You too must learn to unfold naturally into your desires. This is what true relaxation means. It means knowing with absolute conviction what you have assumed in your imagination must objectify itself in your world. Let me give you another technique that I have found particularly powerful. I call it the state akin to sleep. Find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and allow your body to relax completely. Now, in this state of physical relaxation, begin to feel yourself into the scene that would imply your desire is already fulfilled. For instance, if you desire a loving relationship, feel yourself being embraced by your perfect partner. Feel the warmth of their love. Feel the joy of sharing your life with someone who adores you. Make it real in your imagination. Feel it until it feels natural. Remember, my dear friends, you are not trying to make something happen in the future. You are acknowledging what is already true in the eternal now of imagination. This is why trust is so essential. You must trust that what you have imagined is already done. Let me share with you a letter received from a lady in San Francisco. She had been struggling with chronic illness for years. After attending my lectures, she began to apply this principle of relaxation and trust. Instead of fighting against her condition, she would spend time each day feeling the naturalness of perfect health. She wrote to me, "Nebula, I finally understand what you mean by living in the end. I no longer pray for health. I live from the assumption of being healthy. I accept that I am already whole and perfect in my imagination." Within months, her health transformed completely. The doctors were amazed, but she understood the law at work. You see, my dear friends, this is the pattern shown on the mount. This is how creation works. Now, many of you struggle with the time gap between your imaginal act and its physical manifestation. Remember this. Time is not a factor in the fulfillment of your desire. The only time that matters is how long it takes you to feel natural in the state of wish fulfilled. When you truly relax and trust, you don't concern yourself with when or how. You simply live in the end, knowing that the bridge of incidents will form itself. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to your imaginal act. Think about this: when you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the laws of nature to bring forth your harvest. The same principle applies to your imaginal acts. Once you have planted the seed in your imagination, trust that it must grow. Let me share another technique I call revision. At the end of each day, before you sleep, review the events that didn't go as you would have liked. In your imagination, revise them. See them happening the way you would have preferred. Feel the satisfaction of these revised events. This practice accomplishes two things. First, it prevents unwanted seeds from taking root at your consciousness. Second, it strengthens your ability to consciously create your reality. Remember, my dear friends, the universe is infinitely responsive to your consciousness, for the universe is nothing more than your own wonderful human imagination pushed out. When you truly understand this, relaxation becomes your natural state. I want to share with you a profound truth that many miss. The state of relaxation and trust is not something you achieve, it is something you allow. It is your natural state when you recognize your true identity as God individualized. Consider this: does God worry about how things will work out? Does God struggle to make things happen? Of course not. God simply speaks the word knowing it must be fulfilled. And you, being God individualized, have the same creative power. Let me give you another exercise to deepen your understanding of this truth. Throughout your day, whenever you say "I am," pause and remember that you are speaking the name of God. Feel the power of this awareness. Feel the absoluteness of it. When you say "I am wealthy," you are not making a statement about your current bank balance. You are declaring the truth about your being in the realm of imagination, which is the only reality. My dear friends, the secret of relaxation and trust lies in this complete acceptance of your own divine nature. When you truly know that you are the operant power, all anxiety falls away naturally. The sun doesn't worry about whether it will shine tomorrow. It simply shines because that is its nature. In the same way, when you accept your divine nature, creation becomes effortless. You create because that is your nature. Let me share one more personal experience. Years ago, when I desired to travel and lecture across the country, I didn't worry about how it would happen. I didn't make endless plans and strategies. Instead, I would lie in my bed at night and feel the satisfaction of speaking to packed auditoriums. I would feel the joy of sharing these truths with eager listeners. I remained faithful to this imaginal act, trusting that the law must work. And here I stand for you tonight, living proof that what you imagine with feeling must objectify itself in your world. Remember this: the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of your inner assumptions. When you change your assumptions, when you change what you believe to be true, the outer world must change to reflect your new consciousness. This is why relaxation is so crucial. When you truly relax, you stop trying to make things happen in the outer world. Instead, you focus on maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled in your imagination, knowing that the outer world must conform to your inner assumption. Trust, my dear friends, is not about believing in external power. Trust is the absolute knowing that your imagination creates reality. It is the conviction that what you have assumed in your imagination must manifest in your physical world. As we conclude tonight, you take this truth home with you. You are not a helpless being at the mercy of external circumstances. You are God Himself individualized as you, with all the creative power that implies. Tonight, when you return to your homes, choose something you desire experience. It can be something small or something significant. Then, as you prepare for sleep, assume the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Fall asleep in this consciousness. Trust that God is working to bring about the circumstances necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. For remember, man's eyes are blind to the reality of a thing until imagination has brought it into focus. Go now in peace, knowing that you are of your own story. Relax into your divine nature and trust in the perfect operation of the law, for this is the truth that sets you free. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. Therefore, relax completely into the consciousness of your wish fulfilled and watch as your world transforms to match your inner assumption. Thank you and good night. Let me tell you a marvelous thing: your consciousness, your I am-ness, is the only reality. Everything that you perceive in your world, every experience in your daily life, but an expression of your consciousness made manifest. The art of mental discipline. Tonight I shall share with you how to master the divine art of mental discipline. For you see, your thoughts are not mere passive occurrences in your mind. They are living, breathing seeds that must inevitably grow into the circumstances of your life. Let us begin with the fundamental truth. Every moment of your life you are thinking. But are you thinking from the end? Are you thinking from the state of your wish fulfilled? This is the crux of mental discipline. The law of consciousness. I want you to understand this profound truth. Whatever you are conscious of being, you become. This is the law, and it cannot fail. If you persist in maintaining a particular state in your consciousness, it must externalize itself in your world. Consider this. When you go to your bedroom tonight, you will naturally assume that you are in your bed. You don't hope you're in your bed. You don't wish you were in your bed. You simply are in your bed. This is the naturalness I speak of. This is the state cause that creates the 4 pillars of mental discipline. Let me share with you what I call the 4 pillars of mental discipline. These are the fundamental principles that will allow you to master your thoughts and therefore master your life. First pillar, the state of I am, is your conscious, your truth, self. Whatever follows your I am, you become. When you say I'm tired, you become tired. When you say I am wealthy, you become wealthy. The I am in you is God Himself, and whatever you attach to it becomes your reality. Practice this throughout your day. Become aware of what you're attaching to I am. Are you saying I am sick? I am broke. I am unlucky. Change these statements. Begin to attach to your I am only what you wish to be true. Second pillar, living from the end. This is crucial, my dear friends. You must learn to think of you from the end. What I mean by this? I mean you must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. If you desire wealth, you must think from wealth, not about wealth. Let me give you an example. Suppose you desire to be a successful author. Don't think about becoming an author. Instead, assume the feeling of being a successful author now. What would you think? How would you walk? How would you talk? Assume that state now. Third pillar, the law of revision. Here is a wonderful technique I've used countless times. At the end of each day, revise the events that didn't go as you wished. See them play out exactly as you would have wanted them to occur. You see, memory is imagination. The past exists only in your mind, and you can revise it. By revising the day's events, you're actually restructuring your consciousness, which will then create new and better circumstances in your future. Fourth pillar, persistent assumption. Now let me share with you something profound about persistence. It's not enough to imagine your desire once or twice. You must persist in your assumption until it hardens into fact. Think of it like this. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you tend to it, and you trust in the law of growth. The same is true with your thoughts. The practice of mental discipline. Let me now to the practication of these principles. This is how you discipline your thoughts in your daily life. Morning practice. When you wake in the morning before you rise from your bed, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of having what you desire. Don't just visualize it, feel it. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the completeness of having your desire fulfilled. Daytime vigilance. Throughout your day, watch your mental diet. Your thoughts are like food for your consciousness, boiled food. Then why feed your mind with negative thoughts? When a negative thought arises, don't fight it. Simply replace it with its positive opposite. Remember, what you resist persists. What you accept and replace dissolves. Evening revision. Before sleep, review your day. But don't review it as it happened. Review as you would have wanted to happen. This is the art of revision, and it's one of the most powerful tools you possess. The power of feeling. Let me share something crucial about feeling. It's not enough to simply think the right thoughts. You must feel them to be true. The feeling is the secret. When you feel, you create with the full power of your consciousness. Feel the reality of your desire now. Feel its naturalness. Feel as though it were already accomplished. For in truth, in the realm of consciousness, it is already accomplished. Overcome mental resistance. Now you might experience resistance when you begin this practice. Your rational mind might say this isn't true. This isn't real. But remember, your rational mind can only tell you what has been, not what can be. The secret is to persist despite the evidence of your senses. Your sense was created by your past thoughts. Your imagination shows you the world as it can be, created by your disciplined thoughts. The power of silent awareness. Here's a wonderful practice I want to share with you. Throughout your day, take moments of silent awareness. Become conscious of your I am-ness. Feel your existence, your beingness. From this state of pure awareness, you can more easily direct your thoughts. The art of mental construction. Think of your mind as a magnificent mansion. Each thought is a room in this mansion. Through mental discipline, you become architect of this mansion. You decide which rooms to build, which to renovate, and which to demolish. When you catch yourself in a negative thought, say to yourself, "This is not the room I choose to dwell in." Then, consciously construct a new thought. First, your desires are filled. The practice of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for mental discipline. When you feel grateful for something, you're acknowledging its reality in your consciousness. Practice feeling grateful for your desires as though they were already fulfilled. The law of assumption in action. Let me share with you a principle that never fails. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and then live and act from that assumption. This is the secret of mental discipline, to think, feel, and act from the end. If you desire, well, the feeling of wealth now. How does a wealthy person think? How does a wealthy person feel? Assume that state and maintain it despite all evidence to the contrary. The power of your mental diet. Just as you carefully choose what food you eat, choose your thoughts equal care. Your mental life determines your life experience. Feed your mind with thoughts of success, love, abundance, and joy. When negative thoughts arise, and they will, don't fight them. Simply observe them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. Then consciously choose better. The practice of mental discipline. Throughout your day, practice these principles. Watch your I am statements. Think from the end. Revise unwanted events. Persist in your assumption. Maintain a healthy mental diet. Practice gratitude. Stay in silent awareness. Remember, your consciousness is only reality. Therefore, your world is a reflection of your consciousness. By disciplining your thoughts, you literally reshape your world. Concluding words. My dear friends, remember this. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness creates your reality. By disciplining your thoughts, you're not just changing your mind, you're changing your entire world. Practice these principles. Apply them diligently. For when you master the art of mental discipline, you master the art of living itself. Let me tell you a story illustrates this principle perfectly. Recently came to me in despair about her financial situation. She had been thinking thoughts of lack, of poverty, of not enough. I asked her to do something that seemed radical at the time. To completely ignore the evidence of her senses and instead live the assumption of wealth. The continued state of awareness. You see, mental discipline isn't something you practice for an hour and then abandon. It must become your continuous state of awareness. When you wake in the morning, your first thought should be from the state of your wish fulfilled. When you walk down the street, walk as the person you wish to be. When you speak, speak from the consciousness of your desire achieved. The secret of mental persistence. Here's a wonderful secret. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you're imagining and what's real. When you persist in maintain a disciplined thought pattern, your subconscious mind must accept it as fact. And what the subconscious accepts, it must externalize in your world. The three states of thought. Consider these three states of thought. The surface thoughts. These are your casual, everything that flow your mind like leaves on a stream. The intermediate thoughts. These are your more deliberate thoughts. The ones you consciously choose to think. The deep, persistent thoughts. These are the thoughts that you have impressed upon your subconscious and feeling. Your work is to move your desired thoughts from the surface level to the deep level through conscious discipline and persistence. The art of mental rehearsal. Practice this technique before any important event in your life, rehearsing it mentally from the end. Feel the satisfaction of its perfect completion. Do this repeatedly until it feels natural and real to you. The power of I remember when. Here's another powerful technique for thought discipline. Instead of saying I want or I will, use the phrase one remember when. For a saying of want to be wealthy, say I remember when I was struggling financially before I became wealthy. This puts your mind in the position of looking back on the fulfillment of your desire rather than looking forward to it. It's a subtle but powerful shift in consciousness, the silent knowing. Develop what I call the silent knowing. This is a state of absolute certainty about your desire's fulfillment. It's not hoping, not wishing, not wanting. It's knowing. This knowing comes from disciplined thought focused on the end result. The practice of mental cleansing. Just you cleanse your mind, you must cleanse your mind. Each night before sleep, review your thoughts of the day. Which ones serve your desired end? Which ones oppose it? Consciously release the opposing thoughts and strengthen the supporting ones. The law of dual thought. Remember this principle. You cannot hold two opposing thoughts simultaneously. When you find yourself thinking an unwanted thought, immediately replace it with its positive opposite. This is mental discipline in action, the final key. And now, my dear wonderful friends, to mastering your thoughts. Is this love your present reality while simultaneously dwelling in your desired state? This seems paradoxical, but it's crucial for successful mental discipline. Don't hate where you are while trying to get where you want to be. Instead, appreciate your current reality, absolutely knowing that your desired state is already yours in consciousness. The promise. I promise you this. If you will discipline your thoughts as I have outlined tonight, if you will persist in maintaining the consciousness your wish fulfilled, if you will live from the end rather than toward it, your world must conform to your disciplined imagination. For this is the law of consciousness. Whatever you assume to be true, whatever you persist in believing must become your reality. The daily applications. Before you tonight, let me share with you something profound about the daily application of these principles. You see, mental discipline is not merely a practice. It is a way of life, the morning protocol. When you awaken each morning, before you even open your eyes, lie still in your bed and practice this protocol. First, feel your I am-ness. Feel your existence, your beingness. This is God within you, the only creative power there is. Then, from this state of pure awareness, consciously choose the thoughts you will entertain for day. Remember, the first hour of your morning shapes the nature of your entire day. Guard these precious moments with complete awareness. The state akin to sleep. There's something marvelous about the moments just before sleep and just after waking. In these drowsy states, your subconscious mind to new impressions. Use these golden moments wisely. In this state akin to sleep, impress upon your mind the absolute reality of your desire fulfilled. Feel it, live it, be it. Be it. Let this be the last state of consciousness you experience before sleep claims you. Secret of mental posture through the day. As your physical posture affects how you feel and perform, your mental posture determines what you attract and create. Stand tall in your mind. Walk through your day from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Speak, act. And with tell this elevated state of being. The art of mental forgetting. Here's a profound secret many miss. The art of mental discipline includes knowing what to forget. You must learn to forget the old story, the old limitations. When the old story tries to assert itself, and it will gently but firmly dismiss it, say to yourself that was then, this is now. I choose to dwell in the consciousness of my wish fulfilled. The power of repeated assumption. Let me share with you something crucial about mental discipline. It's not enough to assume your desire once or twice. You must live in that assumption until it becomes your dominant feeling. Think of it like this. When you move to a new home, at first it feels strange, unfamiliar, but through continued living there, it becomes natural, familiar. The same principle applies to your new mental state. The practice of mental fidelity. Be faithful to your disciplined thoughts as you would be faithful to a beloved spouse. Don't flirt with negative thoughts. Don't entertain doubts. Stay true to your true state of consciousness. Remember what you are faithful to, you create. What you are loyal to in consciousness must manifest in your world. The law of mental equivalence. Understanding this law is crucial. For every outer condition, there must be an inner equivalent. Your external world is simply the reflection of your disciplined or undisciplined thoughts. Want to change your outer world? Change your inner equivalent through disciplined thought and feeling. The Sabbath of the mind. Practice what I call the Sabbath your day. Periods throughout your day, when you completely rest from effort and simply dwell in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. These mental Sabbaths are crucial. They allow your new thoughts to take root and grow without the interference of doubt or anxiety. The palpable conviction in the power of your disciplined thoughts. This conviction comes through practice and experience. Test these principles in small things first, then graduate to larger desires. Remember, the law works the same whether you are manifesting a parking space or a palace. The only difference is in your level of conviction. The art of mental acceptance. Accept, truly accept, that your consciousness is the only reality. Your world is simply consciousness objectified. Once you accept this truth, mental this to practice, but a joyous responsibility. Finoctus. The final practice. And now, my dear friends, let me give you one final practice before we part. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, do this. Feel the absolute reality of your desire fulfilled. Feel it with all your heart. Enjoy the satisfaction having what you desire. Fall asleep in this feeling. For remember, the feeling is the secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation, the eternal truth. As we conclude this evening, remember this eternal truth. You are not seeking something outside yourself. You are simply selecting a state of consciousness to occupy. Through mental discipline, you choose which state you will dwell in. The promise renewed. I promise you this practice, these principles faithfully maintain mental consistently, and your world must by law conform to your disciplined imagination. For consciousness is the only reality. And your disciplined thoughts are the tools with which you shape that reality. The final word. Go forth tonight with this knowledge. You are not a helpless victim of your thoughts. You are the master of your mind, the author of your experience, the creator of your reality. Through disciplined thought you can and will create the life you desire. Remember, your consciousness is God, and your disciplined imagination to this infinite creative power. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly, and use it constantly. And now, as we conclude this evening, take a moment to feel the absolute reality of your desire fulfilled. Feel it with all your heart. Know it with all your being. For in this feeling lies the power that transforms your world. Test this law. Prove it to yourself. For in the testing lies your freedom, and in the proving lies your power. Thank you, and good night.